Okay, we're back at it. Now we're going to pull this spider unit out, and all you do is little tabs right here next to each one of the legs. You squeeze them together like that. See that? And they pop right out of there. Somebody had suggested maybe I had a leaking one, but no, there's no leaking ones. And there was still pressure on the fuel line, and if there was leaks, there'd be no pressure on the fuel line. And there you have your spider. And I don't know if this PC was supposed to be tightened down or not. I'm guessing not, but it was loose in there. One more piece of the puzzle coming apart. Now, next thing we're going to do is we are going to pull the distributor cap off, and I need to mark the wires so that I know exactly where they go. This is the coil wire here. Actually, I have these marked on this side here already from the last time I changed it. So I'm just going to pull these off, which is sometimes easier said than done. Like that. And these wires will not be used again. They're going to get replaced. But it's good to know what they are when you're taking it apart, so that way when you put the new distributor in, the HEI, I will know which wires go where on the distributor cap for that. Maybe. At least I'll know which ones are on each side. And it's marked on this distributor cap, so the numbers would line up. Can't tell you what the number is because you can see I cut down my screwdriver head on these so that I could get up underneath. Not particularly on this vehicle, but on another vehicle, but it does help. You can see way back in there, maybe you can't see, that there is no room. Get your screwdriver in there. With this screwdriver handle cut off like this, it makes it much easier to get in there. You can just barely get my finger over the top of it. And there we have our distributor cap off. And we'll just set that off out of the way at the moment, where I've got to lift this up and disconnect the plug on the back of the distributor. And there it is. You can see where my rotor is pointing. I've got to get a wrench down on my crankshaft. I don't have the battery in it. Starter's broken anyway. So I'm going to turn it until I have that rotor pointing straight forward, so that I will know when I put my HEI distributor in that I will have the rotor pointing straight forward. And I'm saying that right out loud for you all to hear and see, so that for reference for myself. So I got to do a little finagling to get my wrench down, and I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm down underneath with a wrench on the crankshaft pulley, and I can't be up here too. So I really need you to keep your eyes on that thing and tell me when it's around straight pointing forward, okay? Are we there yet? Almost. A little bit more. Now make sure you yell really loud so I can hear you. How's that? Is that looking pretty good? We might have gone a hair past, actually. Now, I don't know that I could back it up, but it's pretty close. I'm going to try and back it up just a hair. I want it pointing directly forward. Probably it's going to loosen up my bolt down here is what it'll do. Okay, we'll accept that right where it is. Okay, so we have the wire unplugged. Now the next thing to do is unbolt the distributor and pull it right up out of there. Okay, now 10mm socket goes right down in here. That's what it takes to unbolt the distributor. This distributor on these computer control distributors are not allowed to move. They bolt into one place, so they come out and go back in the same place. You can't adjust the timing from there. Everything's done with a computer. Once we have the HEI distributor in here and the computer is bypassed for the ignition system, then we'll be able to actually adjust our timing accordingly. Now, I want you to pay attention because as I pull this distributor out, you're going to notice that my rotor cap is going to turn. See that? Can you see that? That's because you have a helical cut helical cut gear on the bottom. That's why it's important to know where your rotor is orientated, so that when I go to put the new one in, I know that it's going to have to be twisted like that and then dropped in so it comes straight forward. So we'll lift this right up and out of here. And there's just enough room to get it up. This is our distributor. This is one I replaced several years ago. And I had also replaced this cam position sensor unit here. I replaced the rotor and the cap. All of that stuff had been replaced since I put the new distributor in. And I had bought another distributor thinking I would replace the whole thing, but there wasn't any point to that. So we got this out. The next thing, I have, I think, one more hose to disconnect on the front of my intake manifold, and then I can unbolt the intake. And there's the hose right here that I have to take off. Then once I get that off, it's a matter of unbolting the intake. And I believe there's only 8 bolts that hold it, 4 on each side. And we'll be ready to pull this puppy right up and out of there. Well, one of the things I was hoping I wouldn't have to do, I'm going to have to do. The bolt that's up underneath here, you can't get it all the way out without removing the air conditioning compressor, which means you have to take off your serpentine belt. And I wish it was as easy as just lifting this off of here, but it's not, I don't believe. We'll see in a second here. Nope. Still got to take this base piece off. Oh man. Well, I'll keep working at it. This is a number 13 bolt on here. broke them all loose with my hand ratchet. Okay, not as bad as a first thought. It's only 3 bolts holding this bracket on. So if I loosened up the 3 bolts, and I can pull this far enough back here, I think I can get right in there and get that bolt out in the back. And there we have it, the last bolt. Now, probably should blow some dirt and dust out of the way. Okay, it's all over but the crying now. See if I can get this up out of here. I sure wish one of you guys would come and give me a hand with this. Somebody would hold on to the back side or the other side, or one side or the other side. Now we get it out of the way. Just need a little more friendly persuasion. Now we should be able to lift this right up and out of here. Look at that. Woo-hoo! There it is. Nice and clean inside the motor. Okay, the next chore is to get everything cleaned up in here before I start putting things back together. And that's what we're going to do. So hold on to your hats. Our very next thing, we'll be doing that. I don't think I'm going to waste your time showing you how to clean all this up, because if you've gotten into it this far, I'm sure you could figure it out for cleaning it up. When we get ready to put it back together, I'll drop one of the valve covers on so you can see how that works, and then lowering the intake manifold into place, don't you know? All right then. Thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing, sharing, thumbs up, all of them good things. This is George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man, and we're really into it now. And in case anybody decides that I should change directions, yeah, well, probably a little bit late for that now. At the least, we'll have a nice parts truck, but I expect that we're going to get this baby back together and get her running properly. Oh, one more thing. Somebody asked me about changing the thermostat, and yes, I will be putting a new thermostat in the new intake manifold, and I may have to change the gooseneck too. I'm not sure if the factory gooseneck will fit on the new one. We'll find out. Now, I'm really going to go now. Bye now. All tucked in and ready to go to bed. Good night.